Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Amazing.
Awesome. So I was actually here to film Jaco and do an interview with him.
He's better looking. He has a great beard. He also has a more imposing presence. So
Sure.
I'm sorry I'm underwhelming in that
No,
regard.
I know. So I wasn't expecting this, but you know what? That's all right. This is cool. We're here. So I asked him too. I asked him, hey, what are some of the ways that we can be more approachable with self-defense, really? As someone who's been a martial artist since I was 5 years old, I was always passionate to get people involved, because I think that the more that we can take care of ourselves, the more that we can rely on ourselves, the more that we can protect not only ourselves but our families or our future families. It doesn't have to mean that you have a family right now, but to protect them in the future, is to just start getting involved and just taking that first step. So what would you say to somebody who is a little bit intimidated about taking that first step into, whether it be classes from jiu-jitsu, or maybe you have online virtual courses at Sheepdog, or just taking a protector course, something that you can be a beginner at and be also in a safe space?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think a lot of people are starting at a different point, and they look at where someone else is starting and they're like, they're so far ahead of me, or
Right.
they're in jiu-jitsu, or they're kickboxing, or they're already like competitively shooting. So everybody's starting point can be different, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. You're not comparing yourself to anybody else, as long as you start in some form or fashion in literally anything. And then, like, once you're on the journey, you find this community of people like yourself, people that are in this building every single weekend, that just love each other, that love the tribe and the community, that supports each other, and then it just becomes part of your life. And there's so much fun and joy in all the activities around self-defense. I think that's the thing. When you look at self-defense, it's like this tough, hard thing.
Right.
That's not the case. It's you love something. You love your family, you love your friends, you love your church, you love your, whatever that community element looks like, and you want them to be safe because of that. And if you want them to be safe, then here are some things that are fun to do with people that are fun to do it with. All you got to do is start.
When you met your wife, and this is actually like the first time that I'm having this conversation with Tim, so you guys can come with me on the journey too. And so when you met your wife, was she involved in some sort of self-defense or anything? Okay,
No.
Is she involved now?
She is.
How did you get her involved, and what was her approach?
Yeah, I mean, her journey, I think, is a lot like most women's journey. She carried just anxiety and fear. She like you, is just a petite, small, beautiful woman, and I can't imagine. I can't sympathize or be empathetic to what that feels like to walk out of a grocery store at 10 o'clock at night and look at the 5 meters around me, 25 meters in the parking lot. Like that doesn't go through. Look at me. There's nobody's gonna look at a 220-pound
Sure.
hairy troll and be like, I want to attack that guy.
Maybe.
But like every time that you and your gender have done that, walked out in the middle of the night, it goes through your head. So she carried that fear for a long time, and then she met me, and I seemed so carefree because I didn't have to worry. I think people from the outside looking in, they look at somebody that takes self-reliance and self-security seriously, and they're like, man, they're always full of fear. It's just the furthest from the truth. Like, I am so liberated and I'm so free because I do a few things,
Right.
And I take a few precautions, and I train in a few different ways. So then, I can just enjoy my time with my family. I can be intentional with my kids. I can hang out with my beautiful wife, and she can be full of joy, so she doesn't have to be worrying about anything. And then she became a mother, and that what was just fear for herself and anxiety about just existing in a place that she can't stop somebody big and dangerous without tools and resources. And then it was like myself, and by extension, this tiny little beautiful baby that's in a car seat. And that's also then her responsibility, and then that piles onto her. So then, now you get to see a beautiful woman with little kids that is still full of joy, that is fear-free, because because we've subscribed to this idea about being safe.
Yeah, and I think you don't need 5, 10 decades of experience to feel safe. Like, you can start making a change today, and probably literally after 60 minutes you start progressing and feeling, I mean, sure, you can't go out there and just kick people's ass now. You still need training, you still need consistent training, but change can happen very quickly. And so I think that is also a lot of, that is what can also discourage people. It's like, well, sort of a lost cause. Same thing with, in my field of nutrition and health and wellness, it's like it's never too late to start making a change. And a lot of the times too, you won't need self-defense every day. Not everybody's trying to attack you, right, every day. I think it's the way, again, it's the confidence, it's the security, and it's the way that you hold yourself at the gas station. It's the way that you hold yourself at the grocery store. And just like a quick story too, and even why I kind of came, like sheepdog sort of came into my sphere recently, was I've been a martial artist since I was 5, as I mentioned. It's more focused on self-defense, it's Hapkido. And my dad actually was my instructor, so I grew up with that. I feel super lucky and grateful. And I grew up with that, and so I felt like there was just this confidence, this body awareness that a lot of people don't get if they don't have some form of, training or just consistency of protection or defense. And so, so for the longest time, I did martial arts up until about high school, and then I went to college, and then I went to a different state. And it was really hard to find a school that wasn't family or your dad's, right? So I'm like, it's one of those things where I wanted to find something that still had that family vibe, and I just never found it, but I still somewhat practiced in my own ways. And so then as I grew older, I actually hadn't been training, right? But I felt like it was second nature to me. So there's a lot of tools that I did carry with me, even though I sort of paused my in-class training for quite some time. Then I moved to Santa Barbara, and then I had also that similar community out there too as well, that I did some work there. I taught women self-defense. So that was really nice to see the passion in their eyes. But yeah, it was hard for people to even show up to self-defense. So then I started teaching kickboxing, and then that's kind of how I was like, see, you like it. You love when, you feel strong and you feel empowered and you can make these, great choices for yourself and for your family. And so fast forward, so real quick, I travel a lot all over the world, and I traveled for probably about the past 10 years. I've been to 35 different countries, 47 different states in the US, and never have I ever experienced face-to-face with a threat. So I thought, as a threat, meaning somebody come up to me and they bother me, whatever. However, I think there were plenty of threats that I've avoided because self-defense starts with your poise, it starts with your choices of how you need to move. If you see, these threats, things that you go over in your sheepdog classes, specifically your Protector 1 classes, where you call it situational awareness, right? Yeah. Which is a huge part of defense. You don't even have to throw a kick, a punch. You just have to be aware, right? In a society that's like this, the first things first is just being aware of your surroundings. So again, I think that I was successful in traveling alone to these other countries by myself for those reasons, because I was trained in that. Yeah. Last October, I think it was, I was in Greece. And in Greece, Santorini. Okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Also, it's pretty. Being such a touristy spot, too, you would think that it was considered somewhat safer. Needless to say, I didn't make the right choices getting into this situation. And I'll try to make this quick, but I had a really early ferry ride to the main island, and it was 4 a.m. something. I was trying to get a hold of a taxi or Uber, whatever they had at the island, and there was nothing available. So then I went to the local store that was 24 hours, where they gave you ferry passes and then just directional things. Anyways, they couldn't find a taxi at that time. So they sort of hailed one of their maybe like frequent customers that I thought was sort of a worker there too, and everybody in Greece was like kind of nice. And so, there's also like a balance between travel and being open to meeting new people, and then also stranger danger.
Yeah.
Right. And so part of the other skills that I think that you guys teach as well in like all the protector courses, and even just like basic, I see that you have the fitness protector one course too, that like, those sort of like little things are fused in there. And so I sort of dropped my guards a little bit because I'm like, oh, these guys are nice, it's travel. Like, you don't want to always be like stranger danger, like, cover the people all the time and just like, stay in your home. So I accepted the ride because I was like, I have to make it here because of X, Y, and Z. Like, that was my priority. I wasn't thinking of my safety. So I knew that I started making the wrong choices immediately. Hopped in this guy's car. It was a 6-minute drive to the ferry. So that's why I was like, okay, 6 minutes. But it was a 6-minute drive down a steep grade, no railings. The Aegean Sea is right there. And this guy reaches over, probably about 3 minutes in, and grabs my thigh. And I've never experienced anything like this before. So, of course, you have all of these emotions that happen to you right then and there. I don't have any weapons. And then all of a sudden things started downloading in my brain. If I go to attack him, we're gonna be in an accident. I'm gonna be in the sea, dead, both of us. Where's that gonna get you? So self-defense is about protection of yourself, of your life, and getting out of a situation. And it doesn't always mean pew pew. It doesn't always mean like, grab them in a rear naked chokehold. Is that a thing? That's a thing.
It is a thing.
Especially when you're in a tight truck cab. This guy is a huge Greek man, and I am 110 pounds by myself, and this happened. Now, luckily I'm here, so I made it.
Yeah.
But I think the training, even though I hadn't been consistent with it, helped me with a sort of like dealing in a stressful situation where I started to think, what my priorities are. Like, I wanted to get out of here safe. I can't do anything physically because we're both gonna die. So how do I de-escalate the situation? And so one of it was definitely to tell him no in all of the languages because he didn't speak any English or whatever. So what kind of sign language can I do that says this is not acceptable? So I firmly grab his hand and take it over to his side and say, no, like no, And then the only language that we could know is like, we're in Greece. It's Athens, and it's the name of the ferry ride, which I don't even know to this point anymore. But I'm like, oh, Athenia, because that's what, I guess it was in Greek. I was like, Athenia, and like I start saying these words to sort of distract him because you could tell the mood changed, where it was like, now he was just told no, and there was this mood, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can't open the door because, again, this the road is like this, so there's so many things. So I was trying to de-escalate the situation by saying these words that kind of connected us so that he didn't feel so So I know I had to kind of get into those details a little bit, but just all this to say that finally made it safe. Popped out of the car as soon as we landed there, and I thought about totally dragging him out of the car and beating the shit out of him, but I'm just like, you know what? Now I'm back in the cab. I'm like, this is now putting me in another wrong choice scenario. Yep. So that ferry ride was about 6 hours to the main island, and I'm just like, I got to get back into training because it's not a matter of things that are going to happen to you every day that you need to protect your life for. It's just a matter of when. I've been training all my life, And so I think just the consistency of it is just showing up without thinking that you need all of this training or anything of that nature. So it's really kind of a scary world out there, and you just never know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not if, but when. And an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. One of the many reasons why we think situational awareness, especially for women, is so important. It's so preventatively so much more important to stay out of a situation than having thought through every potential way that you could have gotten to the ferry, booking a different type of car, seeing the picture of the person that's going to be picking you up, making sure you've allocated enough time for you to like grab a bike, and just that amount of preparation can keep you out of so much trouble. Everybody has different tools and resources, and our liabilities. Everybody has different sets of assets and liabilities. You have superpowers that I'll never have. Your intuition about what men are thinking or how they're acting or where they're looking. Those are things that are so far beyond my level of appreciation. But then I'm a big, strong, dangerous person, which are a different set of assets that I have. Not that you're not dangerous, that you're not strong, but you have so much other strengths and other attributes, and using those correctly and honing those skills by training makes you so much better positioned and prepared to not be in a desperate spot where, heaven forbid, somebody could get hurt.
Do you think these tools too, I mean, again, like I took the advanced pistol training too because I want to learn, it's really almost like, not necessarily like how to use a gun. Great, I'm a great marksmanship, but I'm also not. Like, humbling experience, just realize, especially in that stressful situation, it's like, great, you can go to the range and you can, shoot the bullseye, perfect. But let's talk about when you're in a stressful situation or you're in Greece or somewhere where it's just like, do these skills really apply anymore? And so that's what I love a lot about the sheepdog courses is like, you're put in real life scenarios that it's like, hey, can you make decisions under stress? And I think it's applicable to a lot of different things in life, not just defending yourself, but also work life scenarios, family scenarios. It's like, how do you think under stress? Do you feel like it's helped you in your family life too?
Oh yeah. Anytime that you're doing hard things, anytime that you're facing challenges and adversity, those are all the challenge. All these struggles and challenges and adversity, that's the catalyst of change. Like that's the thing that improves a human. You don't get better at something by sitting on the couch eating potato chips.
Right.
You get better by struggling and trying to solve and suffering, and those are naturally occurring things in training. Not that you're always gonna be uncomfortable. Sometimes you will. Not always are you gonna be like in complete adversity and like fighting for your life in training, but sometimes you will. But it's in this like very safe, inclusive environment where people can just, to whatever level they're at, reach their own threshold, and then that threshold moves a little bit.
Right.
And then the next time that they come and do it, that line where they were super struggling has changed. It's shifted. They've gotten stronger. They've gotten faster. They've gotten more lethal. They've gotten more comfortable. They've gotten ultimately a little bit more dangerous. And that's and then that line just keeps moving until like at some point you're like, this is super fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not full of fear.
Yeah. And that's what I love actually about the community here from from Gracie and also the sheepdog is that you guys are invested in sort of like your just improvement in your own threshold. There's no, bar to be set. I mean, sure, there's like fun challenges like, hey, let's see if you could beat me. But they are invested on the instructors here and really excited about, your performance and your improvement. And then we love that stuff. We're passionate about seeing people grow, the aha moments that shifts, just visually, you could see them feel empowered and grow in strength, and that's really
it's the reason why we do it.
Yeah,
it's the best to see, no matter where that person's starting point is, but that individual growth, that individual achievement, that individual aha moment. In some instances, we have lots of people that come in here that have trauma in their background. They have prior assaults in their background. And they're survivors. They haven't addressed those ever.
Right.
They've just been carrying it, and their poor vessel, as that's just been this seemingly endless burden. Then they come in here, and they're like, wait, I get to learn how to get somebody's grip off of me and then fight back, and then they have this superpower, and they start working through it, and that time and a little bit of sweat and a little bit of community, man, it heals.
Yeah.
And it is the best feeling to see these people be transformed into joyful, fearless humans.
So why do you do it every day? I mean, yeah, like it's cool to excel and to progress and to learn badass moves, but like, let's get personal. Like, really, why do you want to? What's your why? Why do you get up in the morning?
Yeah. God, family, friends, country. It's super straightforward. I know that's like sounds such like a cliche. I believe that there's like a duty and responsibility as an individual through faith to help other people. And I was given with some God-given gifts, so why don't I help people with that? I have a beautiful family. I have a beautiful wife. I have 4 beautiful kids, and I want them to be safe. I want to provide for them. I want to protect them. So like that's a pretty powerful motivator on a why for me. I have amazing friends. I have like amazing colleagues that I get to work with every single day. Another powerful, compelling motivator. And like we live in the greatest country in the world. It's been since the beginning, since its inception, it's the greatest because of the individual family, and that free citizen that takes individual responsibility seriously. So they're healthy, they're fit, they're trained, they're equipped, and then because of that, we're a free, ungovernable society. And that kind of like hits those 4: God, family, friends, country. It's like the responsibility of the individual to take their own security and freedom seriously. So that's why, like, this is the way, this is the life.
Yeah, and it's true too. I've talked to a few instructors here, and they sort of have, a similar sentiment as well, where, their reasons why are deeper. It's not just to learn cool tricks, like, although that's a bonus, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
a cool party
it is super
trick.
Fun. Yeah. You get to like build fun, like you get into this world and like you geek out.
Yeah.
When we're talking about like, what are we gonna do? There's like thermal imagers over there, and there's night vision over there.
Yeah.
And what are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about hunting. There's a big old bear there.
Yeah.
That was taken on a New Mexico hunt with a good friend. Like we just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Having fun, talking about all the different fun things that we do and all the different fun ways that we do it.
Yeah, and it's just cool because there's just more to learn and more to educate yourself on, and it feels really cool and primal, and so a lot of people again can be intimidated in starting something new, but I think like the more that you get in, like if you just take a step, there's so much more beyond what you even know that's going to open up for you. I think when I started taking courses at Sheepdog, and then I don't know what came first. Hunting came first, and then like archery and sheepdog came together at the same time, I think. So then I started going down those paths where I'm just like, because you guys have a bow provider course here too at Sheepdog, which is amazing. You learn all about like hunting, and then of course some archery, but that's also taught by veterans who are just like super awesome, and they know what they're talking about, so you're going to learn tons and tons, and also learn some cool party tricks. But that kind of, and then now there's like, oh my gosh, like hunting, and then the community around the archery and hunting in general, and then oh my gosh, self-defense and jiu-jitsu, and like wow, like it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And like I think that's one of the things, community and just in-person connection, that's kind of missing a little bit now.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to enter that.
Yeah, I don't know when that part of society kind of crumbled or broke. We used to have like this really interconnected, supportive network that like, hey, can I borrow some flour, or can I borrow some eggs?
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of people that have no idea who their neighbors are. That they don't have a community, they don't have a tribe.
Right.
Whether it's Apogee or private school, and like that's an entire movement of like-minded people with shared values that are all connected to like the sheepdog protector side, to the jiu-jitsu side. Like they're all these really interconnected communities that are mutually complementary. And sometimes there's overlap from like the jiu-jitsu people that do the self-defense stuff, and the shooters that also do the jiu-jitsu, and like the overlanders and the hunters that also, they're like super into like land nav and archery. So it's just like, it's all these people, but they all love each other. They're all like the same people with similar interests. And man, it's just, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Where like you can depend on other people. I can pick up the call and I can call help. I can call for some support, or if I need some help. Tomorrow night, I'm driving this out tonight because me and a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds are all going to be camping by the lake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I have a tent currently set up in the center of my living room that my 9-year-old slept in. I get to sleep in there with my 5-year-old tonight.
Yeah.
Before I pack that thing up and take it out tomorrow night. Our life is just so finite and short. Why would you waste it without people you love and love to spend time with?
Yeah, I agree. And I just found out too the other day that I forget her name, but I met her on a tactical course. So you also, women, you get to meet other women that like this stuff too, and it's just super cool where I'm like, wow, another woman loves archery. Wow, another woman loves pistols. And it's like, she's still very we're all feminine, we embrace our feminine energy. And so it's not super masculine. I mean, yeah, it's a masculine dominated sport, which is the narrative. Yeah. But when you really get down into it and find communities like this, it is not the case.
Come here on a Wednesday night, there's 30, 40 women on this mat doing jiu-jitsu.
And you offer it for a free class in jiu-jitsu.
That's right. Yeah. It's just come as you are.
Yeah.
Come and meet all these other amazing women that live with joy. We had this girl, Danielle, literally rolling to the day of her delivery.
Oh my gosh.
She's this giant, beautiful, pregnant belly, and she had her jiu-jitsu belt tied underneath her chest, pushed up by her giant belly. And she's like, I have to go have a baby now. She's so cool. And she's just all smiles, rose plump cheeks. And then went and had, and now the baby's sitting on the side of the mat, just Googling and goggling as mom and dad are out on the mats training.
Yeah. I love that.
That's community. As everybody else is rotating in, trying to get sniffs of that sweet baby smell.
Yeah.
It's the best smell. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the women community here is it's truly something special. And so, they were come join us. And I'm definitely going to start taking some jiu-jitsu come January. Not because I'm one of those New Year's thing. I typically start things yesterday, but it's just whatever family holiday travel. And so I'll definitely get my ass on the mat in
Can't wait to see
January
ya.
for sure. So I'm super excited, and we'll have all of the links down below too, of kind of just this, community space that you have, from Sheepdog to Gracie to, just all of the other things that you do too as well. So quickly, tell us about all of these things that you sort of run and experience. And
I mean, we'll say it's an ecosystem, but it's not really. It's just a community. It's a community of people that have shared values and shared passions. Whether it's Sheepdog Response, which is we're teaching people how to, the mission statement is to protect and preserve human life and enable and equip people to provide for their families. That's pretty awesome thing to have as your mission statement. And then there's lots of different connective tissues to those things about making sure that people are fit, through Protector Fitness, making sure that they have skills in grappling. We're going to be adding striking classes. Obviously, on the tactical side, we have precision rifle, we have shotgun, we have pistol. It's all of the individual skills that you then get to put together in a Protector course or a Protector 2 course, teaching people to learn how to hunt in a Provider course. So sheepdogresponse.com for the training side of it, both virtually and live. And then we have Gracie Umaida here for people to train. And then we have the fitness side of Protector Fitness. So all very complementary, intertwined things.
And is this just in Austin, Texas, or Cedar Park, Texas? Where?
I mean, we're currently sitting in North Austin and Cedar Park, but we do these courses all over the country. Where people are passionate about learning how to do these things. California is a kind of reoccurring spot for us to go. Las Vegas, Florida, Chicago. It's just trying to make America a little bit safer and a little bit better equipped.
Well, definitely doing that for sure. And I can say too, just make the first step. Just I know we've kind of shown the softer side of us today, but also get your ass in here, because it's amazing, and you just see the transformation on people's faces when you make the first step. You are in good, safe hands. There is nothing to fear, nothing to be scared of. And if you are, that's cool. We're going to help you get through that, and all the women that I've encountered from these classes, and even just the men too, it's like, it's sort of a life-changing experience. And so I really appreciate you having this space and having this platform with such a great community. So
appreciate you.
yeah,
All right,
thank you.
stay safe and free.
Cool, awesome.